Welcome into Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown. I'm Brandon Lewis, joined by Coach Brynjarsson for the Marshalltown Bobcat boys basketball program. Dylan Dose alongside me. Welcome back, Dylan. Appreciate you for showing up this week.
Hey, it's I came back from a couple-day retreat. I had to get back to you and get back to Bobcat basketball.
Yeah, Coach, your name barely fits on the graphic there. Brynjar said, I was trying to remember, are you from, is it Denmark? Iceland. Okay. All right.
Hey,
You were right.
I would like
You were
that to
right.
be known.
You were
I
right.
was right.
Okay.
My second guess was Delaware.
So tell me about the family history or about your name.
So the last name is taken from your dad. So what you do is the last name, you add son to it. If I would happen to be a female, it would have been daughter at the end of Brynjar.
Okay. Wow.
So everybody has a different last name, but your last name is based on the first name of your father.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. That is crazy. So in Iceland, what is basketball like there?
You know, it's grown quite a bit. I mean, it's been a little up and down. I want to say right after I left, we had a group of younger kids a little behind me that kind of made it to the European qualifications, top 8 in the European League. And then just recently now, we just had another, I think it was under 18 that just qualified for the Final 8 as well. So that's a pretty remarkable deal for a country of 375,000 people, quite honestly.
Yeah, that is crazy. Is the weather similar to here?
You know, I was actually back home for Christmas. Took a 10-day trip over there. I hadn't been back for Christmas for 29 years, so
wow.
It was good experience to go back, but it was probably the worst weather they've had in 50 years. It is actually a lot colder here than it is there, but it was cold and it was just snow and it was just blowing the whole entire time. So,
do you have a lot of family over there still, or
all my family?
All your family over there.
Family.
Wow.
I just came when I was 16, went to high school in Iowa City, and stayed with the family. I lived there. They became my guardians, and so never
Now,
left.
did you go to Iowa City West?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. There was the connection on why Bobcats play Iowa City West.
Well, and Michael is actually related to Steve Bergman as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
The Bergman family and the Apple family is actually related. So.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. I love it. And then final question, I guess, before we get into the real meat and potatoes, but I know your coaching background. Obviously, people in the Marshalltown community know you from your days at MCC, and you still work there as well, but as the head basketball coach, and you Coach Apple and that kind of thing. But you spent some time at Iowa State, Idaho State.
University of Idaho.
Oh, University of Idaho. Okay, the Vandals, right?
Yeah, the Vandals.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about, I guess, your basketball coaching history.
Well, you know, I came out of Luther and, you know, thought I was going to be this business guy. And my senior year, about 2 months before we graduated, I shook my head and said, I'm not going to sit in an office, you know, from 8 to 5. And so I wanted to kind of try to pursue the basketball world a little bit, and got lucky enough to have a little connection to the AD at Iowa State at the time. There was a coach's change. Tim Floyd went to Chicago Bulls, and then Larry came in, and with the coach's change, kind of the promises that were made, you know, kind of fell through, and I ended up working in the equipment room for the football team that year, and was going to grad school trying to work on my master's. And then the following year, Terry Carroll, actually, I'd known him since he was in Indian Hills. He'd recruited me out of high school a little bit, and he kind of got me in the door at Iowa State, and kind of the rest was history. You know, we had a bunch of managers, and I was kind of the graduate guy, and the question became, who wants to do you know, all the video editing, and nobody raised their hand, and I said, I will. And, so that kind of gained the confidence from the coaches of seeing that I actually knew what the hell I was talking about. But from there, it was a great 2 years. I mean, we went to the Elite 8, never lost a game at home, back-to-back Big 12 championships. And now what I thought I was walking into and what I actually realized what I was walking into is two different worlds. You know, to the normal person that doesn't necessarily know what goes on behind the scenes, there's a lot more to it than just we roll the ball out at that level.
Plus a few politics probably sprinkled in.
Yeah, not only that, but just the budgets you need. I mean, just the FedEx budget by itself. I mean, just for the film exchange. Now it's all digital, but I mean, just the FedEx budget by itself. I mean, it's $8,000.
That's crazy.
You know, we paid $400 just to get a film sent the same day that night to come back to us from Montana.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
I have a question in that Eric Spoelstra famously came from the video room, that in that Pat Riley tree. What did you learn about the game of basketball just watching a ton of film?
Well, you're forced to learn. I mean, that's for sure. You know, the biggest thing is that you see what works, you see what doesn't work, you get a different perspective of what the family with the Larry, Eustachies and all that. I mean, offense wasn't necessarily the deal.
No, it wasn't.
So Quinn was at Missouri at the time. You know, there was a lot of quick hitters that he ran that, I still to this day kind of have tucked away and pull out every once in a while. There was some coaches legends. Roy was at Kansas at the time. Steal some from him and so forth. So, I mean, it opens up just a big wider picture of what everybody's doing, and you never know when you steal one or two things from somebody.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
One quick thing that I think the Bobcats do incredibly well, and you talked about the quick hitters, are the inbound plays underneath the basket. More often than not, it results in a great look or an easy bucket. Is that something that you bring to the table? Is that Coach Apple? Is that...
Well, I would love to give Mike credit for that, but he would tell you that we ran those when he played for me too.
Okay.
So, we can't let all the secrets out on how we get the lob and all
Yep,
that kind of
yep,
stuff. But and actually, where I stole the lob play from, and half of this stuff is actually from Larry.
Really?
So yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think we're all, highly successful people always have a mold of, stealing the best tidbits from other people and being able to implement it. That's for sure. Hey, more with Coach B when we come back. This is Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown.
Marshalltown's best pizza, Zeno's is the place to get delicious homemade pizza from scratch that the whole family will love. For some, it's a family tradition, and Zeno's Pizza is all about old-school family-owned pizza making. Zeno's respects tradition so much that they have had the same thin crust pizza recipe for over 70 years. There are a couple of ways to get your Zeno's Pizza. You can dine in, order online for pickup, or call 641-752-1245. Zeno's Pizza, 109 East Main Street, downtown Marshalltown.
Join us live each Thursday from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown. Grab some pizza and come out and support Bobcat Athletics. I'm Brandon Lewis, still in Dose, alongside me as well as Coach Brynjarsson, assistant coach for the boys basketball team for your Marshalltown Bobcats. Coach, 9-6 on the season, 2-2 in Iowa Lions Conference North action. We'll talk about your opponent tomorrow night in the Mason City Riverhawks. But on Tuesday night, you took on at home Roosevelt, 51-44, the final score in that one. We've talked about it a little bit in the pregame, but Trayshawn Brooks and his maturation and being able to continue to keep the Bobcats, at least offensively, in things. He had 8 points, and everybody else had 2 points at halftime. And then in the second half, Dalen Houston was really able to get going in that second half and work his way back from that ankle injury. But his ability to keep either the team in the game, drawing fouls, I thought he was a little more aggressive on Tuesday night. His ability to just keep doing these things well. Have you been really impressed by the job he's done in his junior season?
Oh, he's done a great job. Not only that, but he's growing just every day of how hard he works in practice and, improving those qualities of just bringing it every day. From a sophomore level to a varsity level, it's a completely different thing. The expectations, obviously everybody wants everybody to bring it every day, but at the varsity level, it's hard to bounce back from a game on a Tuesday night and you play 29 minutes and you're expected to actually bounce back and actually go hard in practice and do the things the right way. And he is really growing that way and really doing a nice job. And just getting to know Trey, I mean, he's a great kid. Really looking forward to see what's going to happen with him here in the future. I mean, obviously he got this year left and then the senior year, but Trey's going to have a chance to play basketball at the next level at some point.
It's very evident as the season's gone along just how special he could be. I told him he was one assist away from getting a triple-double, and I said that would have been the first triple-double at the high school level that I've seen. And I've seen the Hurt brothers up in Rochester play, and one played at Duke and one played at Minnesota, and I've seen some really exceptional players, even Lipsy as well. I don't think I ever saw him have a triple-double in a game. So his ability to not only rebound but dish the ball and set other guys up for shots how much work behind the scenes goes into setting that up on game day?
Well, I mean, there's quite a bit. I mean, he's obviously put the time in and doing the things that he needs to do. You know, the next step for him, you know, to really be able to get to that next level, as I call it, is he got to figure out that weight room. You know, his body got to get a little bit better, and that's not to knock him. I mean, he's what I call skinny strong, but you know, he got to bulk up a little bit. You know, if we watch right now, you know, Iowa State, for example, and you know, the little guard from Ames is starting for him and putting up some minutes and all that, but you know, his chest is a little different.
He looks bigger. Yeah,
and that's kind of the difference of the high level and the mid level and the low level. You know, I mean, that body, when you walk in, you know, do you have that pro body or not? So there's a lot that goes into it, and Trey logging the minutes that he does every night and so forth, has to guard hard and do these things and so forth. I mean, he's doing a great job.
One thing you look at, yes, his body, that he doesn't have that thickness or bulk, but he's still a very proficient rebounder, and it seems from Armani Thomas was a really good rebounder from that point guard position. It seems you rely heavily on the point guard to participate in the rebounding game. Is that something you intentionally look for?
I wouldn't say we intentionally look for it. I mean, you know, what we're dealt here at the high school level is what we have. You know, we can't go and blame ourselves if we don't have good enough players, you know, kind of like at the college level.
Unless you're like Dowling or Valley or somebody who can recruit a little bit.
But you know, with Trey, I mean, athletically, I mean, he is who he is, and he can do the things that he can. And you know, as much as I would love to say that Coach Apple and myself and our assistant coaches have done, you know, those things and taught him that's not what we've done. I mean, he's just an athletic kid that can really kind of get up and get after it, and Armani was the same way. And you know, but he's, you know, he's doing a great job. Especially just like I've kind of hit on a couple times, the mental part of it. I mean, he's getting better every day, kind of learning how to bring it every day and figuring some things out.
You talked about Trayshawn maybe playing at the next level for basketball. I don't know if Dalen Houston wants to play basketball at the next level. I know he's got definitely interest in football and a tremendous football player at that. But when he's really locked in and he's not dealing with any sort of injuries, he's a special player on the basketball court too. What do you see from his game that maybe he has a future at that side of things too?
He definitely does, and Dalen. The best thing about Dalen is that whatever he chooses to do, he's going to be successful. Yeah. You know, academically and those things. He's an impressive young man that, you know, brings a lot of things to the table, not just athletically or anything like that. He's learning how to be a better leader right now, and he's kind of been growing slowly, you know, this year to get to the point where he's at. But at the same time, you know, he's going to get a chance to play, whether it's football, basketball, something's going to happen for him. I know that. The biggest thing is Dalen has high hopes for himself. You know, I know he wants to be a doctor, and that's pretty impressive right there by itself, being a junior in high school and the grades that he gets and how he carries himself. And, you know, all the way around, just a great individual to be around, along with just the rest of the team, quite honestly.
Yeah, and it seems like his mom is a pretty good rock for him, I'm sure. You know, and so
it's really nice to be able to go to a parent and know that they're going to back you. You know, and which all of our parents do. And when I say that, I don't mean it like that. It's just, you know, when you talk about that. But no, Michelle has been fantastic over the years. I mean, I've gotten to know Dalen since he was probably in about 6th, 7th grade, and so we got a little history going there a little bit. Hasn't necessarily enjoyed some of our summer workouts together, me and him, but we're getting along pretty well.
How much do you get on the court and actually, you know, play the guys? I know
0.
Coach zero. Okay, all right.
0.
All right.
Well, you can ask Dalen. I actually beat him in a shooting contest the other day, but he claims that he allowed me to win since I'm a grandpa. So.
The Riverhawks, your opponent tomorrow night on the road. Tip-off is right around 7:45. You'll watch the game right here on KFJB-TV. In the past, Mason City has been one of those teams that has been a thorn in the Bobcats' side, but earlier this year, you guys really handled them pretty well. I believe it was about a 25-point win or so in that game. And so the ability to go back up there and do it again with a little bit of a different starting lineup or roster at least, what are you really hoping your team does tomorrow to be able to get that victory?
Well, number one, we've got to continue just what we've been doing. I mean, I think our kids have been playing hard defensively. They've done what we've asked them to do. I mean, we've been outmatched in a couple spots every once in a while with some matchups, but they got to guard us as well. And you know, what we're really looking for is we've got to knock down some shots and get some confidence on the offensive end. But you know, Mason City is going to play hard. And when they came here, you know, based on the films that we watched on them and all that, that game on that floor, I walked away and I told Coach Apple, I mean, I said, those guys played a hell of a lot harder than we saw on the film, and they're going to do the same thing tomorrow. And if we're not ready to match that, it, you know, it could be a long night for us. The glass is going to be key. We've struggled a little bit on that. You know, Roosevelt, you know, they, you know, in the first half, that was the difference in the game really for them. I mean, they had 6 off the glass right there by itself. Same thing tomorrow. If we don't get them off the glass, could be a long night for us. But we're ready. We had a good practice today, and got to roll the ball out and go play.
One of the things when you look at Mason City, they do run that 3-2 zone defense, which is a little bit different front. In game 1, winning 72-50, it was second chance offensive points for the Bobcats and attack from the free throw line. Like Brandon said, it's a little bit different lineup. What do you look to attack this 3-2? In your mind, philosophically, what are the keys to beating that zone?
We got to drive the gaps, you know, make 2 guard 1, you know, get the ball to the corner a little bit, and then from there, high post. We got to really hit the high post in some ways and attack from there. And if we get the ball to the corner, high post, dive down, you know, wide open, maybe a backside guy, you know, flashing right behind the guy that dove down and so forth. You know, it's all about ball movement, but, you know, once you get 2 to guard 1, we kind of got him on the run a little bit, and that's kind of to the point we got to get. Kind of a couple sets that we'll run against it, but outside of that, we got to show up and play. I mean, we got to make some plays, and I think our kids will do that. You know, we got 6 games left. I think the kids are excited about, you know, we kind of understand that at this point right now, we only got about 9 practices together. You know, Jackson Bowie's going to be on this team for 9 more practices and 6 more games guaranteed, and then we got our playoff game, and after that there's no guarantees. And once we actually start kind of looking at it like that, I think you know, there's a little fire that kind of lit under him a little bit on Tuesday after we talked about that after our game. And you know, we don't have any time to feel sorry for ourselves just because of a few things there and there. And Mason City's not going to care if we should have beat Roosevelt or not, or this, whatever. They're going to try to get their W, and we got to answer the bell a little bit.
Yeah. I know you mentioned 2 guys knocking down shots. Last year we saw Jackson Eisenbarth with some 20-point games. We haven't seen that from him so far this season. And not to put pressure on a guy, but are you hoping more from Jackson to kind of help you out, hit some of those big shots for you guys down the line?
Of course. You know, Jackson, if he's open, he needs to take that shot. And, you know, the ball hasn't gone in the hole a little bit, but, you know, the basketball gods and the basketball averages are going to even out a little bit at some point. The ball will go in. It's not that. And, you know, the one thing I'd say is kind of from last year to this year is that, you know, when all of a sudden you become known, you're going to be guarded a little bit different too. So there's a little bit of that. But at the same time, he's gotten plenty of open looks. He's knocked down some, and he's missed some. And the other night against Roosevelt, he didn't knock down any of them. So we'll count on the averages and go from there. You know, for tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
And one of the things I was just saying is, as a bit of a struggle right now, great teams are always going to have to push through some adversity. Looking at how this calendar year started out, how can you see this struggle maybe benefiting the Bobcats in mid to late February?
Well, if things are going too easy sometimes, I mean, you know, when you play really well and you've played and you haven't really hit any adversity whatsoever. You know, if you look at Gonzaga in the years that they've been undefeated and all that, and all of a sudden, you know, here's this game in the NCAA tournament, it gets tight and all that, and you know, I can't really say it on the radio what happens to everybody, but I mean, they just pucker up a little bit, and they don't really know what to do. You know, I mean, they haven't been in the situation, so it's not necessarily what we want, but at the same time, hopefully we can carry that out where we actually have had to fight through some adversity, and we'll get over the hump a little bit. Not having Dalen here after Christmas, you know, obviously in those games, you know, we're a different team when he's not on the floor. I think everybody can see that, but. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, it's about figuring it out, and like I said, just in life in general, it's not just going to be, you know, Marshalltown basketball 2022, 23 that, you know, you hit adversity and you know, it doesn't work out in life in general. Just when the kids are done with college and they get jobs, there's going to be days where they don't like something and so forth, and that's how we've got to figure out how to get through it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, nobody's gonna wait for you or feel sorry for you or anything like that. I mean, I've told my kids all along, you might be the nicest kid ever, but I mean, that got nothing to do with making $50,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yep, that is for sure. Good life lessons right there from Coach B, that's for sure. Hey, good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right, it's the Riverhawks and the Bobcats, 7:45 for the boys' game right here on KFJB-TV. We'll talk with Activities Director Ryan Isgrig coming up next from Bobcat Live at Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown on KFJB-TV.
Doesn't end when the weather gets cold at Wandering Creek Golf Club in Marshalltown with their 2 full-swing simulators. Anything you can do at an outdoor golf course, you can do at their indoor golf simulators with 80-plus golf courses to choose from. Wandering Creek has numerous indoor golf tournaments this winter, so check their website for dates and details at wanderingcreekgolf.com. You could also save with special discounts for online bookings. Make a full day of it with golf, food, and your favorite beverage at Wandering Creek Golf Club.
Don't let concerns about current events derail your long-term financial strategy. Edward Jones financial advisor Zach Wall can help. He'll work with you to understand today's financial landscape and how to be positioned for the long term. Edward Jones can give you the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Call Zach Wall at 641-752-3017 in Marshalltown or online at edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Since 1967, Jensen Ford Lincoln has served generations of families around central Iowa. Quality vehicles, professional service, knowledge of our product, that's a part of Jensen. But what's more important to us is a trust that is passed down from every generation. Jensen Ford Lincoln wants to serve your family. We want to be there for your first car, we want to be there for your family SUV, and we want to see you drive away in the Mustang you always dreamed of. At Jensen, we want to be here for you now and every mile along the way.
Whether it's time for a new ride or a new-to-you ride, Lennox Employees Credit Union is here to help with new and used vehicle loans. Rates are as low as 2.24% for up to 60 months for new vehicles and used vehicles for 48 months. Go to their website, lennoxecu.com, for further details and membership eligibility, or call the office to talk to a loan officer. Low auto loan rates from Lennox Employees Credit Union, 1004 East Main Street in Marshalltown, member NCUA.
The right insurance agent can make all the difference. Assured Partners agents represent multiple insurance companies. They can pick and choose from a larger variety of outstanding insurance options. Assured Partners also handles life and health insurance and Medicare supplement coverage. With access to local, regional, and national insurance companies, Assured Partners will create policies tailored to the coverage you need. For more information, go online to assuredpartners.com/Marshalltown. Power through partnership with Assured Partners in Marshalltown, Toledo, and West Des Moines.
Girls basketball also tomorrow night at 6:15 is the tip-off. Pre-game show starts at 6 o'clock here on KFJB-TV. We'll talk to Megan Heitman coming up about girls basketball in a little bit here on Bobcat Live. Plus, we'll talk boys swimming later in the program, as well as Carter Hunt is in the house, as well as head coach Mike Loupee for the Marshalltown Bobcat boys swimming team. Activities Director Ryan Isgrig with us here on Bobcat Live. Ryan, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, when you had the school board meeting, but you guys recently talked about the new school board at the updates at the facility for the soccer and football field and the track as well, too. So I guess if you are able to, kind of a little bit of an update on the latest progression as far as the facilities upgrades go.
Yeah, so we had that project out to bid, and we received, I believe, 4 different bids on the video board, and we're just reviewing those this week. So a lot to review. So we're going through that, and hopefully going to come up with a recommendation soon to give to the school board.
Now, is it going to be like a Jumbotron where, maybe we can get Dylan and I face on there?
Yes.
And I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, it'll definitely enhance the game day experience, I think, no matter what and who goes up there. So I think it'll be a tremendous upgrade, and we're looking forward to it. And, hey, this week actually we got a video board up in our swimming pool at the high school.
Oh, awesome.
Fantastic.
So unfortunate, it took a long time to get here, and we don't have any home high school meets left. We have the middle school season coming up, but it's up. We're getting it hopefully up and running this Monday, and then that'll be a good hopefully practice for the stadium one as well. So, but we're really excited about that, and I can't thank the community enough for all the support to make that happen.
Well, one thing is, as I read, that the upgrade to the video board makes incredible amount of sense. One is we get to travel quite a bit to different high schools, as do you, and you can just see that video board, what it brings to life. Just personally speaking, and from us, is this year of KFJB-TV has been a huge, just what video adds to the storytelling and to what's going on. I really thought that was a smart move, and really commend you in kind of pushing that forward.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's like we said, and it's going to be something. If we didn't go digital, we'll probably regret that later on. So, obviously, we want the best game day experience possible for our kids and for our coaches and for our fans and opposing fans too. We want to come to Marshalltown and hey, they put on a great event and had a great atmosphere, and I think that'd be a big part of it.
I know you're committed to the blue track, but how are you coming on that red field?
Well, we'll have a little red lettering in the end zones, but
no, I'm not looking for lettering.
So
Eastern Washington.
Yeah, but that we'll have different shades of green, every 10 yards or 5 yards or whatever. So dark, light green, and then we'll have yellow soccer lines and a blue track. Yes. So.
Definitely always exciting things. I know down the line, maybe baseball and softball, you guys are looking at, potentially there would be something there for upgrades too.
Yeah, it's funny. Anytime we're of course probably not going to be in a position to ever do everything at once, right? But as a leader, you always want to see progress, right? That going in the right direction. When we're doing the tennis courts, people are asking, well, what about the stadium? And now that we're doing the stadium, so hey, what about baseball, softball? Right? So yeah, absolutely. There's some upgrades needed out there. And we're starting to look at that. And obviously the stadium project that's looming is going to be the priority right now to get that complete. And then we're the last part of our athletic upgrade phase would hopefully be baseball, softball.
Yeah, as you talk about, not all at once, but I moved back at the end of 2014, just looking at it. Roundhouse, tennis courts, video board in the swimming pool, football getting taken care of, wrestling rooms, all those things are done within these last handful of years. That's pretty impressive. And what do you point to of allowing that all to get done in fairly short amount of time?
Yeah, definitely not one big thing, just a lot of little things. And I talked about earlier with the community support, and we want the the best facilities possible for our kids and our community, and we just want to keep making progress, and I think like I said before, just driving down Bobcat Boulevard with all the upgrades we've had, it's pretty cool. The auditorium, the stadium and everything, and to have everything kind of right there is really nice as well. Because my previous school, you had the baseball field was on one part of the town, the football, the stadium was over here, and it wasn't very fun sometimes as an AD.
One campus is huge.
Having everything on campus is awesome.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what town 6 miles off of Highway 20 that has stuff in every different part of that town that I've been lost or gone to the wrong place for the first time. Ames as well.
Yeah. Their baseball, softball is way away from the football. But that's about it. But anyway.
Yeah, one school at my previous school, you probably heard of Cooper DeJean,
Yep.
right? OABCIG. They had something in each town, and I had it on my bulletin board of which thing was in what town, because I could never remember it.
So, Otabote, Arthur, Battle Creek, Ida Grove.
You got it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hot
Yeah,
dang.
alphabet soup right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And his brother is now the quarterback, Cooper DeJeans.
Yep.
So, all right. So a lot of things going on right now. Obviously, we're talking about it a little bit here on Bobcat Live. But what else? I guess outside of the main sports we're talking about right now is going on as far as activities go.
Yeah, so we got wrestling tonight, actually. I have a host on Waterloo East and boy-girl duel senior night. So we have some really good seniors that we're going to recognize tonight and that have done tremendous things all 4 years on the mat and off the mat, and hoping for a victory tonight. And our girls wrestling goes to the Super Regionals tomorrow at Hy-Vee Hall in Des Moines. So that'll be a big thing. There's like 24-something schools there. And, you know, I've asked her, hey, what time is it going to get done? I have no idea. It's all brand new, and we don't know. So it'd be cool. We got to get in the top 4 to advance to state, which is in Coralville at the Extreme Arena. And, we're hoping for a good day at that tomorrow. We got wrestling on Saturday as well at the conference tournament. And, we're looking forward to it. And, of course, you know, we got new baseball, softball. You had them on last week, and so we're starting to get things ready for spring and summer.
It's hard to believe, that is for sure. One recent news item from the Iowa High School Athletic Association was the football implementation of, I think, 40%, I think, was the figure of your total enrollment. There will be a reduction in your enrollment based on free and reduced, kind of that aspect of things. So a little bit of a change. I know that I was doing a little bit of research on free and reduced. There's a fairly high amount in the Marshalltown School District. So doing the math, but it looks like Marshalltown will still stay a 5A school no matter what, pretty much going into the new football season, as it's kind of a 2-year process. I guess when you heard the news, I know that ADs were able to vote on it, correct?
Yeah, well,
So-
superintendents,
Yeah,
but the school districts were able to vote,
And so I guess your thoughts on the change and the implementation of this.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I guess, again, I appreciate them kind of looking into different ways to, you know, hopefully even the playing field a little bit. You know, football, some people ask, you know, why just football? Well, you know, there's always that, you know, the safety factor that goes into it. And, you know, you've been on both sides of those wins and the lopsided losses, and, you know, sometimes it doesn't do any good for anyone. But, you know, I'm glad they're looking into different ways, but at the same time, I think there could be more done. And yeah, at least from a 5A standpoint, it doesn't look like it's going to affect too many schools. And
No.
So yeah, we're planning to play 5A football next year, and that's fine. And, you know, at the end of the day, like 4A football is really good. You know, there's some really good teams in 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, and so, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to plan to play 5A, and we think there's some great matchups that, you know, we're going to hope to, you know, going through our priority list this spring with Coach Goodvin to see who we can match up with in the schedule next year. And so we're starting to look at that right now, and, you know, we're hopeful to just to have a good competitive schedule again. So we look forward to it.
Yeah, you said a little bit of 5A football matchup is Valley was in the championship game, and we were down there. The score was a little bit different, but we had 3 red zone drives in that first half, just didn't get any points. Otherwise, that was a totally different ball game. But you made one mention. You said you'd like to see them do more. So if you were the czar of high school football in the state of Iowa, what would that more be?
Yeah, you know, one thing we've talked about is maybe going, or at least we'd like to see maybe conference football come back. And, you know, that was something that, you know, I played in growing up. And, you know, some of the conferences across the state probably want that. Some don't. And it also gets tough because, you know, some schools in our conference are 4A. Some are 5A. So, you know, what does that look like? So, you know, there's never going to be a perfect solution for anything. But, again, we plan to be a 5A, and I think, you know, we've been pretty competitive the last few years, and so close to making the playoffs the last few years. And I think, you know, if we do the right things off season and keep building the program up, I think we'll get there.
Last question for you. When will the football schedule be out? Maybe people are wondering about that.
Yeah, you know, I get asked that a lot this time of year because everyone's like, "Hey, when's homecoming next year?" I'm like, I don't know. So yeah, it'll probably be the end of March. We'll get the football schedule, and
awesome.
From there, we'll select homecoming date, and we'll look forward to seeing who we'll have at home and away. And, you know, with the new stadium construction, we might hope for a week 2 home game, just to have a little more time for that construction to get done. So
yeah,
that's one thing we did ask, if we could get a week 2 home game. So we'll see what happens.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and safe travels to Mason City tomorrow night. Thanks for covering us.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, go Cats. Ryan Isgrig, Activities Director for Marshalltown High School Athletics. We will talk girls basketball when we come back. This is Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown on KFJB-TV.
You help Marshalltown High School and enjoy a mouth-watering burger at the same time by ordering the Bobcat Burger at Legends American Grill. 2 quarter-pound patties with crisp bacon strips, sautéed onions, and melted American cheddar, jack, and Swiss cheeses on top of fresh shredded lettuce on a toasted bun. It's absolutely delicious. $1 from every Bobcat Burger sold is donated by Legends to Marshalltown High School activities. So, enjoy a Bobcat Burger and help MHS. The Bobcat Burger, another exclusive from Legends American Grill in Marshalltown.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce reminds you that when you shop locally, you are benefiting members of our community and adding to our local community overall. You'll find local business owners are generally more knowledgeable, provide better service, and even know their customers by name. Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce exists to be an advocate for our business community. Membership in the Chamber benefits your business and adds to the strength of our advocacy efforts. For more information on shopping locally and Chamber membership, go to marshalltown.org.
Why choose Marshalltown Community College for your education?
A quality education.
Hands-on career training.
Convenient on-campus living.
One-on-one attention from my instructors.
Earning my AA degree and transferring to university, all while saving money.
Why was MCC the right choice for me? The great student activities and the friends I met.
2 convenient locations and the option to take online classes.
The right choice is MCC.
At Sports Plus Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy Center, we customize each patient's treatment plan to their individual needs. What does that mean? It means that not every back or knee problem is treated the same, and that your program will be unique and designed especially for your needs or problem. This improves how quickly you will return to work or sports. The Sports Plus staff is encouraging and takes pride in your successful recovery. This is just one more reason why champions choose Sports Plus Physical Therapy as their favorite place to rehabilitate and train.
You're an empty nester closing in on that retirement property. Chances are your plans didn't include mom moving in, but life happens and you do the right thing. Wells Fargo Advisors can help. For more than 125 years, we've created wealth management and investment strategies aimed at achieving our clients' personal financial goals. When retirement means caring for yourself and a loved one, turn to Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Advisors is located at 14 East South Ridge Road in Marshalltown. Call them at 641-752-5401. They're a member SIPC.
Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown, right here on KFJB-TV. I'm Brandon Lewis. Dylan Does alongside Megan Heitman, assistant coach for the Marshalltown girls basketball team. Alongside us, you took on Roosevelt the other night, 62-11, the final score. I talked to Coach Brian Murphy after the game, but, boy, the Rough Riders, Ariana Jackson. Or wait. The girl that's going to, is it Ariana Jackson?
Jackson is going to Iowa State.
Okay.
Johnson also had a lot of points.
Okay. Yeah. She had a lot of points, but she's not the one going to Iowa State. It's Ariana Jackson. But she is, you can tell her build, she's got that kind of next level build, and she was a pretty pivotal part of what they do. I guess when you go up against opponents like that, what's your kind of game plan to be able to slow somebody down that is, I mean, we see it on the guys side too, with Taman Lipsey, he always got his points, or he got his assists, that kind of thing, but kind of limiting that. So how do you guys approach that?
Normally, we put our best defender, whoever matches up best, on him, and recently that's been Amaya for literally everybody, just because she got her foul situation under control early in the year. She would get in foul trouble, but she figured that out, and honestly, Jackson didn't hurt us like she did the first time. I mean, she kept her she had 14 points, and a lot of those were later in the game when everything was already decided. We face guarded her, and she ended up just kind of being a role player to get other teammates the ball, which good players will do, right? she found her teammates that were open, and that happened, and we need to take care of the ball better ourselves. So hopefully we can learn something on that side.
Yeah, you really play Maya Moore a little bit further out. I mean, for her height, she comes out, plays up high, that kind of thing. Where do you think that kind of fits into being able to set her up for success guarding-wise?
Yeah, we've asked her last year over the summer, knowing that we had some freshmen coming in with height and length to kind of match her, that to start working outside a little bit more. She's got the footwork on defense. We knew that last year as being the top part of our 1-3-1 and just kind of wreaking havoc on other teams with her length. So we've asked her to be outside. Our offensive strategy this year is more positionless than it has been in the past. So she really worked on her shot a lot in the summer. I would prefer if she would shoot it a bit more, because she does have a really nice shot. And when it's on and it's going in. She just doesn't have a lot of confidence in it yet, but her defense on the outside has been really good. Her ball handling and shooting from the outside has improved vastly since last season to this year.
One thing, as you talked about, Amaya's defense has really gotten better, but really that's just representative of the entire defense. And looking at last year's team and the year before, we have our times where we definitely struggle to score, but that defensive intensity has been there the whole time. Is that because of the added length of the younger group coming in, or is it a myriad of factors?
I think having length is something we haven't been blessed with for the last number of years. So having some height and people who are long is extremely helpful. Georgia gets their hands on things that we haven't had people get their hands on for a number of years. Quite honestly, and I've said this for a number of years, a lot of those girls who are younger play soccer. And so they understand passing angles before having to learn them in basketball, right? So they can get in there and jump some of those. Millie, Sydney, and Georgia have been doing that for years on the soccer field. So having that same footwork and having that anticipation of getting the pass and not necessarily the player allows us to do a lot more on defense. And we were watching film tonight of the first time we played Mason City, which was clear back in beginning of December. And just watching our man defense in that film was like, wow, we've improved so much, even from that time period of just playing more team defense and holding people. And we've held really good teams to low scoring. We just haven't been converting on our own end.
One of the things, as you talk about the young freshman class playing soccer and things, you have a unique perspective, of course, being a parent of one of the freshmen. So you've been watching this group forever, right?
Third, fourth grade.
So
all sports.
So now watching them and now getting to coach them. Can you talk about a little bit about that experience?
Well, interestingly, I've coached that same group since fourth grade in both basketball and soccer. So they're a group of kids that I hold close to my heart anyway, and I knew that I would. In fact, when Murphy came as the head coach, Millie looked at me and she was like, "You still have to be the assistant until I'm done." And I was like, "Okay, fine. Like, if you want me there, I'll do it. If you want me to not do it, then we'll talk about that too." But yeah, it's a special group of kids. There's a group of about 10, 12 girls that have just done a lot of different things together. So they have some natural chemistry that we haven't had in the past either, just because they do, volleyball and soccer and basketball and softball and track and all these things as a group that are team sports, and you need that chemistry. So there are times, even on Tuesday night, where I think Kinsley, Millie, and Georgia were all in at the same time, and they're just making reads and passes because they know where each other's going. And we haven't had that as much even in the last number of years. Like last year when we had a large senior class, it took us 4 years to get there. And these guys are coming in as freshmen already having some of that chemistry and being able to read each other's body language, and it's just now incorporating all the juniors in there too. Yeah,
and that's where Dylan and I have talked about this so much, is that in Marshalltown exclusively, having some kids that are, in the intermediate school and stuff like that right now, being able to kind of see that growing up in Northwest Iowa, I look at Emmetsburg. They had such a great development of youth sports, and their football and wrestling were top-notch and always going to state tournaments. And then, I worked up in Esterville, Iowa, and, their girls' basketball is phenomenal. They just won the championship game last year and still doing really good things. And the youth development, so I commend you for really working with the youth, because that's really where it starts. If you start that journey when you're a freshman versus when you're fourth or fifth, you don't even have to be playing every weekend, that kind of thing, but at least getting familiar with the game. That youth development, is that a focus for you and Brian to be able to make sure that the pipeline continues for years to come?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of been a focus since when Stacy was coaching as well. We started doing like 5th and 6th grade kind of camps and clinics, and out of that came one of the first solid travel teams in a while that we worked with, which is that junior class that's there right now. Was that first team we worked with, and we had a solid team in every class after that, and still do down to 5th and 6th grade right now, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about the 7th grade, if they didn't have as much interest in basketball to have a full travel team, but we've gotten the kids that do have interest in on other teams. So just having that stuff, all the stuff that Brynjar's put together, we've worked together, trying to, get the girls' side to get teams together to put in his tournaments, because he's having these fantastic tournaments right here in town where we don't have to travel, that we can get kids who might not have the means to travel so much to them, because we'll just go pick them up and it's right down the road, right? Yeah. So, we have a lot of opportunity here, and we've been working on a lot of the youth development. We have things set in place to have it go even farther now.
Yeah, it's impressive to see the freshman class, just how much they've progressed. Last year, say what you want, I didn't see the progression that I've seen this year, that the team has developed. So is there anything that you feel like you're doing different, or do you think it is going back to what you said, just the basketball IQ coming in this year as a younger class is just quickly catching on and developing faster?
I think a little bit is that they have some IQ coming in. I think a lot of it is a big attribute to the juniors. Yeah. We have some really good leadership on this team that has just kept them together. Amaya and Sarah have been really good captains for us and been really vocal about keeping kids in the group together. We have team meals this year where there's just one long table and they all sit together, and that hasn't happened in the last 5 or 6 years. If they're on the bus, they're actually talking to each other and not in little groups, and they genuinely enjoy each other.
That's awesome.
So I think that is part of it, is the team chemistry that's come about, whether intentionally or not intentionally, by those guys making sure nobody else is left out.
And before we get and looking at the Riverhawks, one of the things coaches talk a lot about, especially when you have these huge strides, at three victories, looking for some more before we end the year, you're like, oh, man, I wish I just had this team for one more year. You have this team for one more year. We talk a lot about the freshmen, but really the leadership is not senior leadership, it's junior leadership. So looking forward to this, really is a 2-year process. Does that excite you as a coach?
Oh, definitely. We started probably last summer, more so than at the beginning of this year, kind of implementing a new offense and really trying to get our head around if it's something that we could do with the personnel we had coming up, and knowing that we have 2 years. And so we said that in the first week of practice, we're like, this is going to look ugly before it looks good, but we have 2 years to get this together. And sometimes it's still really ugly, but they're actually starting to see some of because it's a lot more them reading things than us telling them a pattern, right? It's more just playing basketball and reading what the defense is giving you than running a pattern and setting specific screens, right? We've started to put some of those in too, that they're actually running really well right now too. But we've said from the beginning that nobody's leaving and we're only going to add. So that's not just to the varsity, but also the JV. We've been kind of lean on the JV this year, but there's no seniors there either. So, we're going to add kids next year that's just going to make our numbers more consistent. There's a lot of good 8th graders that'll be coming up and be solid for JV, maybe get some varsity minutes even with this group that we have. So it's really exciting, we knew this year was going to be a lot of growing pains and struggles. I think it still is. I pointed out to him in the locker room after Roosevelt that we have our last 4 games are all 4 games against teams that we should compete against. And we didn't play real well at Ames. We didn't play Fort Dodge real well here. We played our best basketball in the first half up at Waterloo East, and we end with them with our last game, right? So there is potentially 1, 2, 3 more wins out there that we should be competitive in and can get, 4 or 5 wins on the year.
Yeah. Mason City, the Riverhawks, your opponent. Last question for you, Megan. As we talk girls basketball tonight, you'll see the game tomorrow night. Pregame at 6 and tip-off at 6:15 here on KFJB-TV. But Reggie Spott's the junior. She's averaging 18 points per game. How do you shut her down? Is that kind of your key to victory tomorrow?
Hopefully, we talked about that. We're going to put Amaya on her, see what happens. Amaya matches up really good with her because she can be inside and outside. The first time we played them, we had Sarah on her, and she just went in and posted up, and, her height and length can't match that with Sarah. So we're going to put Amaya on her, see how that goes, probably throw another couple things in there. Our big focus that we've been focusing on this week is breaking their press and their pressure. They're going to run a half-court trapping 1-3-1 like they have for the last, probably since I was in high school, and run that system. And we showed parts on Tuesday of being able to handle it well, and then we got fatigued and we went back to some old habits. So we're still focusing on those good habits that we started to see against Roosevelt, and we need to capitalize on and just get more girls looking to the basket to score.
Trust the process, right?
Always. That's, right. That's the fun part.
Yeah, for sure. Megan Heitman, assistant coach. Of course, congrats to Coach Murphy. Over last week, had a new baby.
Yeah, he's a whole week old now, little Bo.
I love the name. Bo Murphy.
Murphy.
It's a good name.
That's going to be.
He's going to be an SEC quarterback.
I was just going to say Bo Murphy drops back for the pass.
Big 12.
Hey, girls basketball tomorrow night here on KFJB. Tip-off at 7:15. Dylan Does will have the call. We look forward to having you along for that one. When we come back, we'll talk boys swimming. They are doing great things on that side. They just beat Indianola this week. We'll talk about that and much more when we come back on Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown right here on KFJB-TV.
City within a city not far from here. The city includes a beautiful apartment building with indoor parking, a chapel, a movie theater, a swimming pool, exercise and recreational facilities, putting greens, and more. The city isn't really a city, but it is a wonderful place to live. Make friends and live your best life. It's the Embers Retirement Community in Marshalltown. The Embers provides security, independence, and companionship. Beautiful grounds outside and lovely studio, 1- and 2-bedroom apartments inside. See it for yourself. The Embers in Marshalltown.
Your home is the one place where everything should be perfect, including your air. Capon & Brown helps you achieve the perfect air you deserve with reliable, groundbreaking, award-winning Lennox products. Call Capon & Brown to hear more about how they can help you feel healthier and happier in your home. It doesn't get any more perfect than that. Call them today at 641-753-3563 or visit them online at caponandbrowninc.com. Your local premier Lennox dealer, where quality has been a promise for 48 years.
Marshalltown knows competition. We started forging trowels in 1890 and evolved into manufacturing tools for masonry, drywall, concrete, flooring, tile, paint, and more. Today, we're still going strong. Marshalltown strong. As a worldwide leader in manufacturing, we crush the competition. We believe in our community and are proud to support Bobcat Athletics.
McGregor's Furniture and Mattress has your mattress. Every firmness, comfort, and support level, each at a great price. Make the investment today for a good night's sleep for years to come. McGregor's also has quality furniture for every room in your home. Beautiful, comfortable sofas, recliners, dinette sets, and office furniture to help you work and relax in comfort and style. McGregor's Furniture is proud to bring you quality furniture and great service, and they are proud to support Bobcat Athletics. McGregor's Furniture and Mattress, downtown Marshalltown, open 7 days a week.
You should never have to wait after ordering new appliances. At Pence Appliance, you wouldn't. With an incredible selection in stock and ready to install today. Our friendly team is here to help you pick the perfect set to match your style. And let our professional technicians install and set up your new appliances, often delivering the very next day. Stop in today, see all the new features, and find your new look at Pence Appliance. For sales and service of everything appliance, go see the Pence team.
Happy birthday.
All right. Nice.
Hey, happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Carter Hunt with us here on Bobcat Live as we talk boys swimming. How's the season been going for you? I mean, you guys are doing great things. I know. What are you in the rankings right now? Was it 12th? 14th? 14th?
14th.
Okay, yeah. Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The team itself, we're doing really good. Just, going through the motion of practice with this man. Yeah.
You got to win against Indianola. How was that? It had to be a good feeling to take them down.
Oh, it was a real good feeling. Just being able to go into a team that is like almost as good as us, and just to come out with the scoring that we did. And I think the team and everyone else, we competed really well. We went in there, knew what we had to do, knew that we had to compete, knew it was going to be hard, and we went in there and got the job done.
We talked to you during football season a little bit, just about, we saw you at the running back spot. You played DB as well, and just your, such a physical sport. And then you go to swimming. It's a little bit of a different grind on your body, right?
Oh, most definitely. When you're going from football to just having explosive running and running at top speed for maybe a few plays and then getting hit every once in a while, to swimming and working every single muscle in your body, it's a different feeling. And I felt it for the first couple weeks of practice, and yeah, it's just whoa.
Yeah. What are you swimming in?
I swim mostly sprints, so like the 50s and the 100s. So, and that's about all my range is.
I thought you were asking him if it was in board shorts or a Speedo. What are you swimming in? But no, Carter, we talked about the differences of football and swimming, and you're a person that wasn't afraid to put shoulder pads on a guy. If maybe a cousin got tackled inappropriately, you were gonna step up for him. How does that tenacity and physicality translate into swimming? Where are the connections?
I mean, being from a sport where you're just racing people and from another sport to where you're actually hitting people is different. I mean, you want to go in there and you can't really hit anybody in swimming, and so you just want to go out there and you just the intensity is, I just want to win. That's the team. I want the team to win, and I'm going to do everything I can to help my team succeed.
Mike, I know you talked a little bit when we had you on last month, but you liked this team heading in, but I sure think that you probably like this team even more so. You've really put on a good run here, 24-3 on the season, right? Ranked 14th, like we mentioned. So, I mean, you got to be happy with the progression, right?
Well, yeah. Oh, very, very much so. Note: Carter strained an abductor in his upper quad area, and he was out for 4 weeks. And we swam him twice at conference on Saturday to kind of test it, and he came back against Indianola, and that doing whatever he can, he winds up having a season best time, winning the 100 free.
Wow!
And so we're in a lot happier place knowing that we got Carter back 100% going into the district meet. The group as a whole has done really nicely. They're pretty beat up and tired right now. I'm not their most popular guy with them. They're tired, they're sore. We sprint them, and Coach Delaney and I are barking at them, and we're in their ear, and they're huffing and puffing, and then we put the next set up, and they look at us like, you've got to be kidding. And so we're 3 days away from backing off and doing our rest and stretch and taper and hope we really have some great time drops at districts. But this is the first season. We finished our dual season 9-0, or excuse me, 9-1. And that's the best dual record since I've been coaching in 30 plus years that we've had. We've had several 8-2 seasons, but never a 9-1. So
congrats.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That's just all the kids. It's great kids to work with. The message going into Indianola, that was our 4th meet in 8 days.
Oh my!
And we had a makeup meet against Fort Dodge, and then we swam Ames, and then we had conference, and then we had to go to Indianola, and to ask what we did of that group. Hey, strap it on, it's time to go again. Yep. It's time to go again. And the kids have responded really well.
And Mike, you talked last time we were on with you about how Ames has that full year swimming club. Marshalltown is multi-sport, and so when you even put it through that lens of being 9-1 in duals this year, how impressive to you, thinking of we don't have that full year, it's just this part year, we're going up against other schools that are going at it differently. Does that even make you more proud?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, kids like Carter, he comes in and he's played football since August, and he comes into the pool in November, and he's tight and he's football body ready, and we've got to stretch him out. We've got to get him in cardio shape, and he's done a really good job. We have several football players. Lincoln Barker plays football. Sam Griesel plays football. And several of the West Marshall kids play football, and they even went longer with their playoff run. So half a dozen of our guys are football players, and it's like, okay, great, you played football and you hit people, but now we got to stretch out and you've got to get in shape. And to do the things we've been able to do in a 13-week, what's in the swimming world is referred to as a sprint set season. The kids have done a phenomenal job. They've asked everything that Coach Delaney and I have asked them to do.
That's phenomenal.
You look at a guy like Lincoln Barker, he's pretty tall, and then Sam Griesel is not as tall. Putting it nicely, I guess he's quite shorter. But what's the benefit? Is there any to being a taller person, or in swimming does it not really matter?
Well, you can ask Carter that off the blocks.
It's a huge difference from being able to get off the block to the water quicker than everybody else from your height difference.
And you see the difference, like in that first stroke on the breakout. Lincoln is ahead of the pack. Carter's got to take 3 real fast strokes to get caught up, just from a height standpoint, and so. A real funny, a fun one anecdote with when we had the alumni Change for Charity meet. Former state champion Logan Frederick came, and he swam the breaststroke against Sam. And Logan is 6'2", and Sam is 5 foot a little bit. and Sam came up at his feet after the start.
Wow.
And that was kind of a nice lesson for Sam to learn. Also, Logan also swam collegiately, and his technique is outstanding. And so Sam was like, "Wow, I guess I got to get in the weight room because I'm not going to grow that much."
no, that's
okay.
Sure.
Good learning, Sam. Good learning. But and then just to finish that. Logan has come in and volunteered his time a couple of times and worked with the breaststrokers, and we've seen a real nice improvement out of those kids. Not necessarily always that Logan says a whole lot different, but coming from a former Bobcat state champion, they pay a little bit better attention. And it's somebody different.
A different ear,
Somebody
different voice, yeah, that's for sure. All right, so district's coming up on February 4th. Tell me a little bit about what you're preparing for that day.
Well, it's in the new Ames pool, the Dan Flannery pool. It just opened this year, an 8-lane pool, and I've talked to several coaches that have been there, and they say it's a really fast pool. It's exciting that it's a fast pool.
What makes a fast pool?
Yeah.
Construction, the overflow for the guttering system, the contours of the bottom of the pool, so there's less bounce back from water and things like that. So we're excited to go. It's only a 40-mile drive, so we don't have to bounce on a bus for several hours. So things line up really well. As far as our district assignments, Ames is there, of course, and they're ranked 3rd in the state. And Ankeny is, I believe, 5th or 6th. And then there's Indianola and ourselves. So the guys that we hope to move on to the state meet, they'll be in the fast heat. And, on one side, they're going to have a guy that they need to beat if they want to qualify. And on the other side, they're going to have a guy that's going to be at the state meet that they need to hang with. So we like the way things are going to stack up, and I think all 3 of our relays will be seeded 3rd or 4th in those 4 teams. So we've got guys to race, and we've got the table set for us. This week we had Indianola, and we checked in our JV taper guys, and now we have the rest of this week to really kind of pound them and continue beating them up and keeping them tired. And then next week we'll go through our taper process. Each day we back off the yardage, and we start stretching them. There's a thing they don't really enjoy, but I think has paid off dividends, is they get to start their ice bath process. Sadistically, I enjoy it just because I get to watch them suffer. But
that's fantastic.
Carter made a face, so I'm sure you must not be a huge fan.
No.
But in talking with Avery, our trainer from Sports Plus, he's been a phenomenal for us. I am very grateful he got Carter back into shape and got him back in the water really well.
Awesome.
And very knowledgeable young man, and has taken the time to learn swimming. And he's been very helpful with us, and he's going to participate in some of our soft tissue work, kind of working out the muscle knots and things like that. And we talked about ice bathing, and he's like, oh yeah, they should be doing that. And so we'll stretch him out. We'll back off a lot of the yardage and have a lot shorter practices, less intensity, and just get them high in the water. They'll hydrate real well, and then they back off of that, so their bodies are just slightly more buoyant on Saturday. We do all those things. We've always been fortunate. We have good solid tapers. So I am guardedly excited and optimistic. This is the time of year my wife gets upset with me because she sends me to the basement to sleep because I don't sleep. I toss and turn and wake up thinking about things, and so she's like, go to the basement. I'll see you after districts. So I'm excited. This has been a great crew to work with.
Awesome.
They're good, hardworking kids, and I'm excited for the possibilities.
Great to hear. Good luck at districts. Carter, last question. What are you working on between now and districts to get yourself ready?
Me personally, I need to work better on starts and turns and my underwater, because I would like to think I'm faster than everybody on top of the water, but under the water is where everyone else gets me. So that's what I'm definitely going to be working on the way to districts.
Awesome. Well, hey, good luck, and we wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate that.
And happy birthday again, all right?
Appreciate that, too. Thank you.
Carter Hunt with us, as well as Mike Loupee with boys swimming for the Marshalltown Bobcats. Thanks so much to all of our guests for joining us here tonight. I think this might have been one of our best Bobcat lives.
I had a ton of fun. It was great to have the assistant coaches swimming and Ryan Isgrig.
Yeah, and we learned a little more about Iceland tonight with Brynjarsson. So good stuff. Thanks to Zach Tomish, our producer here tonight, as well as Jesse DeMeyer, a.k.a. McMeyer, on camera work here tonight. You've been watching Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown, right here on your home for the Cats, KFJB-TV.